Toronto has a huge public transit system, so let's explore the TTC, hear me talk about 2-minute travel gear, mainly for my own pleasure, and also head outside and reflect a bit on Canada Day. So let's check it out. Good morning. We are heading to Mississauga, really. We're only catching a bus, well, a streetcar, which is a tram, and then a subway, then a bus, maybe then another bus, and we're going to be going for a little bit of an explore, so let's check it out. Public transport in Toronto means catching the TTC, or Toronto Transit Commission. First, trams, known as streetcars. We'll be catching the 512 St Clair to St Clair West Subway station. Next is the subway. The main line, Line 1, is a U-shape and starts just north of Toronto proper, then heads down and curves past Union Station and then back up following Yonge Street to Finch. The Toronto subway is simple, clean, and best of all, air-conditioned, unlike, say, the Tube in London. It's also warm in winter, which is helpful too. I like these trains on Line 1, known as the Toronto Rocket. They're a bit boring on the outside, but inside they're continuous, so no getting stuck in a stinky carriage. Line 1 intersects with Line 2 in 3 places, making for easy transfers. Just head down the stairs and you're at Line 2, ready to head east or west along Bloor Street. It's all in the same subway system, so no need to get another ticket or anything. We're changing at St George Station, and I love the colour scheme and retro fonts. It's pretty classy. One bummer about Line 2 is the older trains. These ain't the Rockets, and you're stuck in each carriage. And there's no electronic signs inside saying what stop this is. It's very old school. The subway is clean and pretty reliable. The real problem is Toronto is massive. I feel like everything is an hour away. Zoo, random shops. Work is 90 minutes away. I guess that's big city life, right? I have to transfer at Islington to the buses of the next city over, Mississauga. People love status around here. There's Toronto shade about people living in the cities around Toronto and saying they live in Toronto. It's a bit like saying you're from Wellington when you live in Upper Hutt. Does that count for, like, Pocono and Auckland? The Mississauga Bus Company is called My Way, and it's not the same as the TTC. It can get confusing, but they're all integrated using the One Presto card payment system. Just note that they do charge separate fares, and so your TTC fare ain't the same as your My Way fare. These days, Google Maps will tell you where to go and where to transfer. It's still pandemic life in Toronto, so a few of the buses have mandatory spacing, but they're all clean and eventually get you to where you need to go. They all have signage and audio alerts about the stops. And here we are, the middle of what feels like nowhere, so I can buy a $10 part for my camera. But at least there's a store in Toronto that sells it. Speaking of cameras, let's hear about the gear that makes up 2-minute travel. Good afternoon from Sir Winston Churchill Park. Basically, I never get a chance to play with all of my camera equipment, of which there seems to be a lot. Catherine says too much, and growing every day. So I have like an extension pole for the camera, so it can be at like eye level height without me touching it. And I never use this, and it was $25. I have a wide angle lens, which is quite useful and I do use all the time. And I have a tripod, which I never use. And I was saying to Catherine I need a bigger tripod, because that makes sense. This is the view from Sir Winston Churchill Park, with great views of the Toronto skyline, including the CN Tower. The radio tower I thought was the CN Tower when we first arrived, which is clearly wrong, and that's something that Catherine never lets me forget. And while it's normally a work day, we're here in the park because it's Canada Day. I've never seen so many people wear Canada shirts with Canada flags. You never really see that on Waitangi Day in New Zealand. High in the sky, if you can even see it, is an old warplane. And the reason why it's flying about in the sky, there it is. I don't know if you can hear it. It's really old school. Is that it's Canada Day. So happy Canada Day. Now obviously we've got some people who watch the channel and they're from New Zealand. Most people are from New Zealand. We've got some people who watch the channel, they're from Canada. No one. And we got maybe some people who watch elsewhere. Canada Day is a lot like Australia Day. It's a celebration of the country, former British colony. New Zealand has a Waitangi Day, which is not quite the same, which is more of a reflection on the relationship between the indigenous people of New Zealand, Māori people, and the rest of the people, which really call them Pākehā. And this is not quite the same as that. And you know, I think there's a little bit of progress Canada has to make towards that side of stuff. But it is Canada Day nonetheless, so we're here at Sir Winston Churchill Park. We're going to be checking out, and it is like streetcar here and the road there, and then you have this beautiful park here, CN Tower over there. We've come here, we're going to have a little bit of a picnic, hang out with some friends.